Thanks for joining us today on The Perfect X. My name is Sherry, and this is.
Ben, the co-host.
I wasn't even gonna say it this time. I um, was gonna see which name you use, but anyways, Ben, and thanks for joining us on. Oh, oops. Okay, I think we got to start all over again.
Why?
I just totally forgot if I had said it. The Perfect
No,
X
well, I
is.
mean, we can start right now. It's the perfect X.
Okay. All right. And
Yeah.
today we're talking about what you find attractive in a person's personality.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what an intro.
Different intro.
I wanted to see what name you use if I didn't say anything. I thought you were gonna say Benjamin, the
Benjamin.
Spanish Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Yeah, that one. Okay. All right. Well, before we start, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Just finishing work and ready to start a really long weekend. I have Monday and Tuesday off, so yeah.
It feels like this week went by so quick for me.
Yes, it did. I've been kind of busy, but I feel that also helps a lot. Like I'm just busy and working and working and working, so the day just goes by fast. And so yeah,
It is true. I know. I'm finally really busy. Every time I plan a trip right before, my work gets so busy. Literally, like right before. Like, and then it's so freaking busy for like a month after. And it's always like, I'll be like so low key. And then like a week before, like a couple days before the trip, work gets like so crazy. So this week is just insane for me. So I can't wait for the long weekend.
yeah, and then you come back, and then you just have to start catching up from everything.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
I I
and
make my own schedule, so I never have that stress, but I personally have that stress. You know what I mean?
yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
But
Mhm.
anyways, so I'm gonna ask you first. What is it? Well, I personally think that a person's personality will make them good looking or not. Like, there's so many times in life where I bump into people and I think they're like from far away, like super good looking, or I'm attracted to them or whatever. And then the moment their personality is exposed, I'm like, oh, fuck no. Absolutely not gonna happen. And also vice versa. Like, there's so many times where I wasn't attracted to someone, but then their personality, like a comedian, right? Like Russell Peters. Like the guy's got a nose the size of my face. I find him so
Wow.
attractive. I don't know if you've ever looked him up, but he's not good looking, but he's good looking because his personality is funny. So I think people's personality makes or breaks their looks. And so I'm curious, personality wise, like what are your main attractions?
I mean, it's. I mean, personality. Of course, I like someone that's funny. I like someone that's independent. Um, but of course, the first thing you look at is like physical, right? But for me. That's why I also find it really hard to use dating apps because they can say so many things, but at the end you don't know until you meet them. But someone that yeah, I like someone that can take jokes and does not get offended.
Oh, that's so important to me. But it's also like funny is my number one thing that I look in personality. Like I love a funny person. Like, but I mean that goes like so beyond just being funny. Like your sense, I mean, we have the same sense of humor, but someone else's sense of humor may not be the same. Like my mom and sister don't find me funny at all. They just think I'm offensive. Like they just don't. And then they like crack each other up so much, and I think their jokes are like preschooler jokes, like like I don't find them funny like at all, but like so it really matters, like, and I find that that really matters when I'm meeting people too, like a lot of people like just like recently we bumped into like some guy, and I was like sarcastically calling him an intern, and he didn't find that funny at all, like like he clearly wasn't an intern. He was like, okay, just when he introduced himself he kept saying he was this high executive, so I turned around and was like, oh, so how's your internship going? Like, so
You're such
and
an ass.
I know, but I mean, like, it was such an ass move of him to like introduce himself like right away with his. I mean, he came up to us at the bar and he was like, "I'm blah blah blah. I run this company. I'm this," and I was like, "Oh, so like I made an internship joke." And like, my type of guy would laugh and get that I'm being sarcastic now because maybe he was a little too egotistical, and like just be cool with it. But this
Yeah.
guy was so offended. And that, like, so it really matters. Like, being funny, it doesn't mean you're just funny. It means you have the same sense of humor and the same style of humor. And that really matters. Like, for instance, my dad and I have the same sense of humor. And so my dad doesn't make fun of my mom. But when you're home all day long and there's just the two of you, you got to make fun of somebody, you know? Like, like the people that I spend most of my time with, we make fun of each other all the time. So like my dad has to like unleash once he's out of the house because he
Yeah.
can't do it to my mom, but it matters. And so I think that's really important, but also someone who gives it back. Like I don't want to just constantly making fun of someone. I want to also,
Yeah, because
you know.
then you end up being like a bully, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And it's funny you say about that. Like my dad and I, we have like the same sense of humor. We both are kind of sarcastic and stuff like that. We also like dad jokes. And so
Oh,
I love dad jokes. Like I know they're dumb and silly, but they're, I don't know. They make me laugh. But but like my dad used to call me, maybe a lot of people are gonna find this offensive, but he used to call me cara de perro, which is like dog face.
oh.
And it was just like for him, that was just like I know he was joking, I know, but my mom would find it like super offensive, like, oh, don't call him that. And I did not mind at all. Like I knew my dad was saying it like in a jokey, funny way. But I grew up and I find it that way too. So sometimes if I'm going out with a girl, I would never call her like that. But I also make jokes like that, and if they get offended, I'm like calm down. Like, I'm not trying to be offensive. That's just my humor, you know? I don't know.
It's really hard to connect when you're a sarcastic person with like without boundary, like rude things. And I think what really makes a difference is like I notice is like for instance, like a lot of people and like basically in society, they tell you that jokes are hit like a way of saying what you really feel. But like I think people with my type of sense of humor, like my close friends, like you, like people that I connect with, they are actually the opposite. Like I don't actually joke. Like if I have a friend that's overweight, I'm not actually gonna make fat jokes. You know what I mean? Like I may cross the line with every kind of joke, but they have no hidden meaning. Like I constantly like make fun of my friends for like the most obvious things about them, but that are actually just funny and it's not really personal or offensive. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like for instance, I constantly tell my girlfriend to divorce her husband because he's the best husband. So it's funny when we make divorce jokes about it. Like when she's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "On my way to divorce lawyer's office" or something like like
Yeah.
he didn't like my. Those are only funny when you have a healthy relationship. But if they were fighting all the time and didn't have a good relationship and he was a shitty husband, then yeah, I get it. It's you know. So I think that how you perceive jokes also matters. Like someone who thinks that you're like what is that word, like subconsciously or maybe like subtly trying to say something to someone through a joke, yeah, they get offended by everything. And those type of people, you can't cross boundaries in jokes because they're always trying to find a hidden message in your joke. And
Yeah.
the that's really fundamentally makes a big difference. And so I think when we say funny, it's really there's two types of funny and you just got to align yourself with that person if that's what you're attracted to. Like I agree with you. Like I can't be with somebody who every time I make a joke is like being like, does she think I'm an intern? Like does she think I'm not successful enough? Like, so I
Yeah,
get it.
and going back to like the jealousy, I feel that's also like if you're how do you say um like you believe
Insecure.
in yourself. Yeah, if you're insecure, then that is gonna offend you. But I feel like secure people are like they can take any joke, no matter how harsh it could be, and
Yeah.
just laugh about it, like because I mean, if you were like with a serious face and being like, "Hey, you fucking intern," then that changes. But if you're, "Hey, intern," and you make fun of, like, you laugh, then I don't know. I get what you're saying, but also I understand his point of view because you had just met him, so kind of making that
I
joke straight
know.
away. I mean, yeah,
Okay, so I it's so funny you say that because I have a girlfriend and she's really funny, right? And I like we've known each other for years, years, years. She's like And she is really funny too, but she always waits to get to know someone before she unleashes. Versus me, I unleash like the moment you look my way, it's game on. And she's
Yeah,
always she always told me, she's like, let people get to know you for a minute so they know you're joking. And I'm like, but that's not my responsibility, because it does go back to what you're saying. Like if you're a confident, secure person, like if someone unleashes jokes at me and we're like laughing and smiling or whatever, I'm gonna know that they're joking. I don't need to get to know you past 30 seconds. Like I get it. We're joking, you know?
of course.
Like when
Like
we met.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when we met, we ripped into each other right away. Like, you know? And so because like I'm not so insecure that some random person saying something to me is gonna rip me apart. So it does
Yeah.
come back to the security thing. I do agree with you. But
Yeah.
I do have a girlfriend who has really believes that. Like she's so fucking funny, but you only like she won't even do it on a first date. Like you'll get it afterwards.
Yeah.
And she's also, it's really weird because I've joked with I've never offended her. Like I've always, and I really crossed the line with her. But
Yeah.
she never gets offended. But if a guy jokes with her on the first date, she's
She's not gonna like it.
50-50. Well,
Yeah.
she's 50-50. Like, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, it also goes to like, I have friends who, like, I have one girlfriend, she is funny, but she doesn't do it often. Like, she's more reserved in general, but like, she doesn't get offended by any joke I make with her. Like, she's got that sense of humor.
Yeah.
But she only gives it back just because her mind doesn't work that way. She just gives it back once in a while. You know what I mean? But I notice like when we're out and about, so you know, you like, even though I could say whatever I want to her, she's not okay with that with random. So I mean, I guess that does come into play, but again, that's like finding someone with your sense of humor. Like I'm really attracted to a guy who right off the bat makes me laugh, and it can be offensive as hell. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
so
I mean, you made fun of me because I was drunk and I don't know what in the plane, and it was funny about it, and yeah, I like that. But yeah, I guess you, like you said, like in the first 30 minutes, in the first 30 seconds or the first minute, you can kind of tell if somebody can handle.
you
A,
can
yeah.
like just actually kind of putting that up like right away when I spoke to you, I was like, you're drunk. Like you didn't look or act drunk, but I could just tell.
Well,
I'm
I
like,
wasn't. I
well,
can handle my
you
liquor.
had a few, you had a few beers and you were acting anyway. But I mean, like I'm from Vancouver, like you know, like beer is water there, so I like could tell right away. But like I made fun of you right off the bat. You were laughing and you owned up to it. You were like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've had a few, and so that's where you can read the room and you're like, okay, I can continue. If you just got offended, I would have been like, fuck, that's the end of this plane ride talking to this guy, you
Also,
know.
getting drunk on a plane is the best. I mean, what else you have to do? So,
I don't know how you could do that. I can't even have one drink on a plane. I get so nauseous.
oh, I love it. I love when it's like 2 hours layover, and I'm just like, where's the closest bar to my gate, and just start pounding some beers and then go on the plane.
You're
Ah, it's fun.
good. You're good. Stomach of steel, I tell you. Like if you get one drink in, if I had two drinks in, I would be on like Instagram video of people getting escorted off a plane. Like,
Next
you
time we
know.
meet on a plane, I'm gonna get you drunk.
No, no, no. Trust me, I'm telling you,
Yes.
there'll be an Instagram video, and our podcast will be kicked off, kicked off all platforms. Yeah,
You're gonna try to steal something off the plane.
I'm probably trying to fly the plane. I'll be banging at the part, like what is that, the cockpit or whatever? Like, let me fly. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. I'm a fucking nutcase. I'm not like you. All right, so another thing that's for me so important is someone who's genuinely kind and giving. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like late or you've experienced it, but lately people are always like calculative in their giving, and I can't stand it. I wasn't raised like that. Like you don't do something so someone does something back for you, you know? Or they bring it up like I did this for you, what have you done for me kind of thing. And it's funny because it's like I watch a lot of reality show, and this became like a really famous line is this one girl Lindsay on Summer House Rules or Summer House whatever it's called. She goes, how many sandwiches have you made for me? And this like becomes like such a like renowned, like anybody who watches Bravo, like they know that line now. It's so famous. But to me, it's like that's such a sad thing because that's how society is now. Like everybody's always calculative. Like if they do something, they like, and I hear this from, I've seen this from guys on dates. Like they'll complain about other girls that they dated. They're like, I did this for her, I did that for her, and she didn't do. It's like, well, then that's like you don't give to receive, you know?
Of course, yeah. You cannot. I mean, you're hoping that that person will reciprocate the same way, not in. oh, I helped you 3 times, so you have to help me 3 times. But you're hoping that that same person will be accountable when you need help, you know? But
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 it's not, I mean, it's not like, of course, in a relationship, you want someone who gives and takes.
of
But
course, yeah,
if
yeah,
you're saying it, that means you're keeping track. That's what I find odd. You know what
of
I mean? Like
course.
if anytime I find, like, if I go on a date with a guy, I always ask, like, what were your exes like? What happened? Blah, blah. When they start telling me like things they've done, and it's so calculate, like it's like they can tell me like every time they've done something for that person. I'm like, oh, this person never just gave from the bottom of their heart. They were always testing. And I can't stand that. And that to
Do
me
you?
is just such an ugly thing.
But you're saying about exes. So do you feel not that they ever like were counting, but like it depends also how the relationship ended, don't you think? Like if you and I were dating and then we break up and it's amicable and we're both like, you know what, this is just not working. I don't think I would be like, oh, and I did this for her and I did that. But if the relationship ends bad, then I feel that's when they're like they're they're keeping tally of how many
But
times they helped. And I feel that's I don't know. I feel like keeping that grudge is just terrible, you know?
But then, okay, well, that goes down to this thing. Like, like I think I told you a while ago about that guy who had told me he had baggage on a date or whatever.
Yeah.
When he tells me the stories, he was telling me about all the things he'd done for that girl and whatever. But they started from the beginning of the relationship. So yes, maybe he's sour now, but it's like, and then they were together for like over a year or something. But all I could think is, well, if it's that bad right off the beginning, and if you had that many issues, then I don't blame the girl as much as I blame you also for staying for over a year. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you're being if you're getting to a point where you're so calculative in the relationship, you should have broke up so long ago. But most, like, if you're, it takes time to be sour. Like, everyone has that really bad relationship. It didn't happen overnight, you know? And I
Yeah.
think when you get older, choosing to continue to stay when it's that toxic that you cannot leave amicably, it's gone too far. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in working together, working on a relationship, making it better. But if it's so toxic that you're like, he said this, I did this, he did that, I did, that's just, you either completely change the behavior, and if you change the behavior, you got to forgive and forget.
Yeah.
And then if you forgive and forget, how can you really recite that detail to me on another, like, moving on, telling me the story of you and your ex? Then you didn't forgive and forget, and you were just toxically moving forward. So to
Yeah.
me, it's like a little bit of a red flag. Like if someone is that, and I'm not saying like, like you can say like, oh, I always like cook for him and he always told me my food is bad. Well, like, okay, fine. Like he didn't appreciate you. I understand that makes you a little sour. But I'm talking about people who are really like listing the things they've done for somebody and that person not reciprocating. And it's like, it's not overnight. So if it went on for 6 months, well, then why did you stay for 6 months? And at that point, it's kind of your fault more than theirs, in my perception.
No, no, no. Yeah, of course. I totally agree with you because if you're listing everything and you're probably listing it in your head and you're like, and I'm pretty sure many times it has crossed through someone's head, like, why am I still in this relationship if I am doing all this? But they just won't speak it or don't like, or really just don't break up just because they're like, well, maybe she'll change or maybe, but if you don't talk about it, if you don't go up to that person and be like, hey, I feel like I'm giving a lot more than I'm receiving. Like, it's just how you are, or like I think communication. I always
Is
go back to
important.
communication. Yeah, I mean, because you always have to share how you're feeling. Because if you're just not feeling it, I mean, there's something going on, and you just need to like talk about it. And if you talk about it, and she's like, "Well, you know what? I'm just not that person. I'm not gonna help you whenever, or I'm not gonna do this because." So then it's
And
like,
there are
oh,
people like that. Like, there are people who are natural givers. And someone one time told me there's givers, there's takers, and there's people in between. That's the type of, like, whatever book they read, they learned that these were three personalities. There are people who really are just takers, and there are people who genuinely all they want to do is give. Like, I know people in relationships where, like, that, like, one individual, their joy is just taking care of the other person. Like, it really is where they feel fulfilled. And that other
yeah,
person doesn't take advantage of it. Like, they're not like this awful, but they're actually a really kind, giving person themselves. But they love the feeling of being taken care of like that. And so it actually balances each other out. It's a very healthy
Yeah.
thing. And then there's people in the middle, which we all hope to be in the middle, right? But there are some people who are really just genuinely people who want everyone to do everything for them. And I know people like this too, that
Yeah.
they're just takers. And no matter what you do for them, they're never going to give back to you. Not the gratefulness, not the thank yous, not physically, emotionally. They're just people who take and they feel entitled, and that's
Yeah.
how they're like. And that give if you're a natural giver, being with that kind of taker, it's really toxic, and
Yeah.
you got to wonder why you're with them. I do really well with people in the middle. Like, I'm a middle person. I genuinely love to give, but I also want to be with someone that is healthy. It's give and take. I'm not someone who enjoys babying, or like, I don't like to give too much. And so for me, it's really important to be with someone in the middle. I don't want to keep tally. I just want to also feel fulfilled. I don't
Yeah.
feel fulfilled being a complete giver, and I don't feel fulfilled being a complete taker in a healthy
Yeah.
way in a shit,
I'm
you know?
I'm a giver. I love giving. I'm always willing to help, like even like whatever, in relationships, even friendships, like um I love helping out. I'm
I know
just a
we should
giver.
tell listeners that you were even babysitting a parrot a while ago.
Yeah,
Like,
I've pet sitted parrots, cats, dogs, um and well, and house sitted, and like, yeah, I always, and I'm always up for it. If somebody needs help, I'm gonna be there for that person, and I'm not expecting anything in return. They always give me beer and alcohol, which that's good, but I'm not expecting it. Like, I'm fine. Like, if I'm willing to help you, I'll be like, yes, I'll be there, I'll help you, no worries. Like, I'm not expecting anything in return.
but see, so that you're a natural giver. So for you, a healthy taker would probably be your ideal person, like a healthy person, someone who like emotionally takes care of you too, like gives back and is appreciative and loves it, but you love to baby, like that's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't love to be baby, but I love to be given. So that's why I say I'm in the middle. So you would probably want like a healthy taker, someone who like they really live for that moment of someone babying them. So I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
like I could be like, we could be watching a movie on the couch, right, or whatever,
mhm.
and I turn around, I'm like, "Hey, do you want a foot rub?" Like, out of, I don't care, like, I just want to do it. I want you to feel comfortable, and I'll just do it,
You're such a
without
giver.
you even, yeah, without asking. And I don't mind giving massage, but I just feel like that's a bit more complicated. And I feel like if I don't do it well, I can injure that person. But like a foot rub, I like giving foot rubs, or I don't know. But I'm just like that. I'll just give without even, oh, now it's my turn. Now no.
You're a
So
giver. You're a giver.
yeah.
Huh? Well, see, I don't like that too much. I like a little bit, but I like it to be in between. Because I also like giving, but I don't like to give too much. Like, I've got a fucking limit. Like, all right. What's another one that you really like? I mean, that would make someone, attracted to you.
um Something that really attracts me is someone, like, when I see in, like, in the dating apps or stuff like that,
Mhm.
someone that is without a lot of makeup, and like easygoing, not super dressy. I love a casual person, girl, someone that uses tennis shoes, like that drives me wild.
So just
Like,
like
I
a
love that.
is someone who's so easygoing that they could go anywhere without putting makeup on and go in their sweats kind of thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
I
fair,
love that. Yeah.
fair. I mean, I love easygoing and open-minded too. I love judgy jokes. Like, I love when someone is so quick that they can judge and make a joke, but I hate people who are actually judging them. Like, again, like I said, like the joke doesn't have any meaning behind it. So if someone's making super fucking opinionated, judgy jokes, I'm all for it. But if they're to their core actually a judgmental person, I just can't stand it. Like, if you're easygoing, you cannot be judgmental. Like, easygoing people accept that other people are different, and they accept the differences, and they know it's none of their business to kind of make other people view their opinions and their way of life. And I think easygoing, open-minded go hand in hand, and it makes someone such a to me a well-rounded person. But
Yeah.
definitely for the judgmental jokes. Those are like all for it. But I also don't mesh well with type A personalities.
What do you mean type A personalities?
Like rigid and like everything has to be. I mean, again, it wouldn't be open minded. They would, they're someone who everything has to be a certain way, which is, I guess you could be open minded. Like you can be open minded that people are different, but they only know one way of doing things physically. Like the house always has to be one way. They have to go and like every Friday has to be one way. They work one way. Their schedule is one way. It's just rigid all the time. Like they're very type A. I can't do that.
I've
It's
never
just
thought of
me.
that. Yeah, I mean,
I think you would go crazy. You're spontaneous. Type A
yeah, I'm
personalities can't be
spontaneous.
spontaneous. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
do have like my strict things that I like. I always have to be on time. I always, like stuff like that. But
that's considerate though. You're not talking about like type A personalities have to have everything a certain way at all times and it's their way. Like it's just rigid. It's a rigid lifestyle, you know?
yeah,
And they're
no, yeah,
controlling. They're usually very controlling people.
yeah, no, I'm not like that at all.
Can you handle being controlled?
No, not really. Um, so no, I mean, I kind of like it a little, because then I guess a lot of my ex-girlfriends were a bit more controlling, but
In what sense? Like just what you guys do or what you do as a person?
well, like what we did, like, but I also think it's more of, you know what, like I don't care, like let's do whatever you want, like
So
and
but
I
what
don't
you did
know,
as a couple, you're saying like
yeah,
activities or how you did things or who you saw, you don't mind that. But
yeah,
controlling, I mean about like when they're like, Ben, can you like do this? Can you be like this? Can you like that type of like control your
oh,
personality?
yeah, no, no, fuck that, like no, no, I
Okay.
could, yeah,
Fair, fair, fair. I hate that
yeah,
too. I hate someone telling me what to do and how to do it as a person.
yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
no, yeah,
Down to earth too. That's another thing on my list. I love a down to earth person. I love labels and nice things and dressing up, but but like it has to be like I love someone who wears like Louis Vuitton because they like that person, not because they care that much for wearing a Louis Vuitton. You know what I'm saying? Like I could wear my Target t-shirt with my like Gucci sneakers. Like it doesn't matter. Like I wear what I like. I like nice things and I like casual things. And I down to earth. Like just wearing a label doesn't make a person. And I cannot stand. And I live in LA. Like I see it all the time. And Persians even have a saying. It says like it what the saying translates to it's like empty pockets but like really nice like the person has like a Lamborghini but can't afford like rents an apartment
yeah,
or can't afford the rent, like empty pockets but a great presentation. And they live for what other people view them as. So like, I know a lot of Persians that drive like BMWs and whatever and barely can afford rent. So it's like, well, why the fuck are you driving that? And it's like that's just like so materialistic. Even though I
yeah,
love nice things, but it's not down to earth.
yeah, um, yeah, I'm the jeans, tennis shoes, and bling t-shirt. Like I have so many bling t-shirts, all different colors, and that's just how I dress. I don't care about brands. I don't care about like no. I One thing that I do like a lot and that I wear all the time are Vans. Tennis
Oh
shoes,
no
Vans.
way.
That's what I wear all the time. I probably have more pairs than I need. I have a shit ton, but that's just like it's not because of the brand. I just like the tennis shoes and I like how they fit on me and I like them and that's it. But other than that, like I don't care about like Louis Vuitton, Chanel. Like I do not care about that shit. I'm happy with a blank t-shirt. That's fine with me.
I just think like if you like an item, like I love Cartier. I love their designs, I've always loved the Cartier Love bracelet. I have them, I wear them, but I don't wear it because of Cartier. I love the look. And I feel like when people wear fake stuff, like I don't care. It's not about the label, or whatever. But I feel like at that point, you're just wearing it so someone else thinks you can afford something. It's not because you like it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's not down to earth. Like I have no problem. I wear so much clothes from Forever 21. I don't give a fuck. I still fit their clothes. I love their clothes. I'm gonna wear it. So I have got like a $5 t-shirt with $30,000 on my wrist. You know what I mean? Like I wear what I like because it's what I like, not what I want other people to perceive me as. And I can't be with someone who's the opposite way, like at all.
Yeah.
I just, and I love material, like you say, like you have so many Vans. Like I'm actually really bad. Like if I like a style of something, like a shoe, I'll buy like every color of that shoe. Like I actually have 13 pairs of APLs of the same style, but in different colors. Like if it comes, whatever color it comes in, I get. Every time it comes with the full sole shoe, one color, I get it. And I'm like that. Like I've one jacket that I love, and I have it in 8 colors because every season they come out with another color. I'll get it. But again, I just because I have a lot of stuff, it doesn't matter. Like I stuff that I like and I wear for me. Like, and when you're in LA, it's like, and it's not just LA, Vancouver's no different. Like people really do things to be perceived a certain way. And I think when someone's like that, that again goes back to insecurity, and it's just such a turn off, like such a turn off. Like
But you know what?
just
You're saying like down to earth, and I get it. I know you are down to earth. But if I ever see you dressed up like all flashy and with $30,000 on your, I'm never gonna think you're down to earth. And I'm gonna judge you right away, like without even knowing you, but I'm gonna be like, oh,
you think so?
this, yes, of
But
course.
I like like I like a guy who dresses really nice when he's out, and I approach him, but I hope when he opens his mouth, he's a normal fucking human being. Because again, material doesn't make who you are. Just because he dresses really flashy or drives a flashy car, he could still be a really fucking normal person. It's
Oh,
just
of
what he
course,
likes.
but it's hard to go up to someone if you see
You
them
say.
and you're like, yeah, like I would never go up to you if I see you walking down the street when you're all like all flashy. I'm like, no,
Hmm.
because I just like I don't think we would connect. And yeah, like when you were in the plane without any makeup and sweatpants and a t-shirt, I'm like, okay, she's cool, down to earth. But if you would have gone all like dressy, I would have been like this bitch.
Those sweatpants were from Amazon too. they were they were part of the Amazon Essential brand. But I had my Cartier on, and you didn't
I
even notice.
I
See?
didn't even notice. Yeah, and I don't because I don't care about that. I really do not say. Yeah, I don't know what you mentioned about some shoes. I don't even know what they are.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I think
I
I hear what you're saying. Like, I think for me, because I like labels and I like no label both, so I can tell. I would still go up to someone even if they were wearing like a like. I mean, when you're walking on like not Robson, Vancouver, but Rodeo in LA, you see guys with nice cars. And I've always been a tire biter. I fucking love cars. I still love Fast and the Furious. So I'm a Ferrari girl. I've always wanted one. I love them. I love cars. I drove a Mustang. Like I am actually a car girl. So when I see a guy drive a Ferrari, I'm like, oh my God, like he knows cars. Like but if he
do
comes
you
out talking
think they
like
know cars? No.
well, no, but if he comes out talking like a douchebag, then I'm gonna be like, fuck it. So I wouldn't judge him on that.
I love
But
how you say bag because you sound so Canadian.
I hear that all the time, but to me, it sounds just like how you say it, but I hear it all the time. People are always like, "What? What are you talking about?" I'm like
When you're
a
saying,
bag.
yeah, you were saying baggage. I was like, what the fuck are you saying?
Really, I hear it all. To me, it sounds like you. I
Baggage. And like, yeah,
baggage. Yeah, no, I hear it. And people
yeah.
are always like, "Can you say that Canadian word?" I'm like, "What Canadian word?" It sounds the same to me. But
But
yeah,
yeah, but that's the thing. I don't care about that. Like, yeah,
but
I'm of
you
course
don't
gonna
like
be like,
those things. Maybe that's because
yeah,
you don't like
yeah.
them.
I'm just like, it just does not appeal to me why you have to spend so much money. Like if I'm a billionaire and I can buy it, yeah, but maybe Ferrari would not even be the car that I would buy. And I think I would dress exactly the same. I mean, because I really do not care about that. Because again, it's something that I'm gonna, I don't know, like,
But then, like, think about this. Like, if you're a big foodie, and like, let's say I only like I really want to go to Michelin star. I'm a big foodie. I want to go to Michelin star. I'm not a
yeah,
big foodie, so I don't really care. So I never understand why people spend that money to go to like to me that's the same food. I'm just as happy getting a soft serve at McDonald's as I am going to like top notch, restaurants. So like to other people, like I love fashion and that includes cars. Like I just also love cars. So to me, that would probably be like how or if you went to like a beer festival and paid a lot for like this exclusive beer. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It really is, but there's a
I
difference.
would I would go to an exclusive brewery or exclusive beer event, but not for one beer. I mean, I would travel to get that beer, but
But see that that's your thing. But there's
well,
a
yeah, but
difference. But there's a difference. Imagine like someone who does it just to say they did it versus someone who genuinely likes it. Imagine like you spend like $5,000 for a flight, $10,000 for a trip to go to this once in a lifetime beer experience. And that was your thing. And you loved it. And imagine someone else who was like, they just wanted to say they did it. So they spent that
but
money.
it's a one is an experience and the other one is showing something flashy like a
But it's
Ferrari.
not
I don't.
showing. I mean, driving a Ferrari, are you kidding? It's not just showing it. It's just, unfortunately, other people see it. That's the only way you can experience it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get it. I find material things just like I don't find it appealing.
But I feel like that about, so you have to take the judgment out of stuff because I think how someone is about it. Like I'm never ever gonna buy something and post. And we were just shopping recently, and this girl was like posting so many fucking pictures inside Prada of whatever she bought, and it was like such a small thing, and I was like, that's just ridiculous. Like I would never buy something and then post about it and talk about it. I mean, although I did just talk about something, but that's like, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing it for the show. I'm trying to explain something. Otherwise, it's never come out of my mouth to a single fucking person what I own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And or how
Well,
much it was or anything.
now a lot of people are gonna know.
Now I come off as like a shallow fucking piece of shit. So
Yes.
you know,
So down
I
to earth. Back to down to earth. What were you saying?
but I mean just like those things that I genuinely
No,
like.
no.
This is the first time I've ever shown it. Now maybe I come off shallow look wise. I don't know, but I mean the rest of my outfit's probably from Forever 21 or Amazon. So so let's be honest. I doubt I get that perception, but you could. I see what you're saying. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying for some people that like to me fashion is so fucking amazing. So like I that's the experience. Wearing when I wear it, I love wearing it. It's the experience. To you an experience is something else. So don't
Yeah.
always judge a book by its cover. But when they open their mouth and they're like saying these things like I just did about how much my bracelets were and shit, then run, fucking run. Like, because I would never do that in person.
Please don't do that.
I will.
Don't
Trust
ever
me. I won't. I
don't
would
ever
never.
change.
I
Don't
won't. I
ever
won't.
change, Harry.
I won't. I won't. I'll try my best, but
So another thing that I like about girls, personality wise, someone that's outgoing, um, I like that. It, I mean, and there's several like levels of outgoing, right? But someone that is not shy, I I really like that.
can work a room kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, me too. Love it. I love
and
outgoing people.
yeah, and sometimes you see those people who really want to like shine, but
Hmm.
they do it too much that they're like, like you're like, kind of cringy, like, oh, you should not have said that, like they really want to be outgoing and they kind of like cross the line.
What do you mean, like a room starter, like someone who like they're outgoing and there's an attention seeker? You mean like
Yeah,
an attention seeker that just sucks up all the energy of the room? You're like, fuck, when will this person stop? This is not a stage.
yeah, and sometimes it feels kind of fake.
Mm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, but someone outgoing, I love that. Like, yeah,
Just someone who can meet you, like a guy who can just talk to everyone and anyone, like they're
yeah,
ordering a drink at the bar, and then the person next to them's like, what is this? And then they get into a conversation. I fucking love that. It's just like such a fun, good person that just can talk to anyone anywhere. I find that so attractive too. I so hear you on that.
we just had an event on Wednesday at work, and it was probably like I don't know 2,500 people, and they all work at the same company, and so we're all there, and it's a huge event. There's a concert, there's like live music and everything, and I'm talking to some friends, and people are like walking by, and I'm like, hey, saying hi. I know so many people, but because I'm so outgoing, and they're like, how do you know all these people? And I'm like, I just go up to them and just start talking. Or if we're like in the cafeteria and we're gonna order food and they're right in front of me, I just like, oh, what are you ordering? You know, like stuff like that, and strike up a conversation with anyone. I love doing that. And people, they're like, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't know. I just love talking to
It's your
people.
natural way. It's your natural way. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like you don't think about it. It's not like when you see the sandwich on the plate, you just ask them about it. You're not like, should I, shouldn't I? You're like, oh well, that sandwich was good. What is that? You know?
Oh yeah, I'm that person that I could be anywhere, and I'm like, hey, excuse me, where did you get that? You know, like, because I've seen it, and or like, oh, are those tennis shoes this, or I don't know, because are they really that comfortable? I see all these ads of really comfortable shoes, and I'm like, are those really those comfortable? And they're like, yes, and I'm like, I don't care about, like, I don't mind going up to someone. If they're assholes, well, I'll figure it out at that moment. But why be so afraid of interacting with people?
But it's funny you say that, and then we go back to the fact that you won't go up to a girl you're interested in.
Well, because what am I gonna say? Hey, I think you're really pretty. Can I have your phone
No,
number?
but the same thing. Like you just found something to talk about the person next to you. But what about that? Like, can't you walk up to them at the bar and then say, "What are you drinking? What is that?" You know? Can it just be the same thing? Why do we make that one such a bigger deal in our head?
I don't know.
But you just said
I
that you
know, I
can't.
know. And I'm answering. I don't know why I am like that. Why? I don't
Well,
know.
that should tell our listeners that maybe we overthink these things. Like you just show you're like, how could people not just go up to someone and ask them in the cafeteria or talk to them or whatever? Because it's true. Like I have the same mentality as you. If you've got something to say, fucking say it. You know?
Yeah,
Why do you make it such a bigger deal just because you find someone attractive? It's the same. It's still a human being. It's still one fucking person that may reject you or may not. It's the same thing as just talking to any other person.
I always feel. You know what? I feel like if I was gonna go up to a girl that I felt was cute,
Mhm.
I could tell her like, "Hey, I really like your blouse, or I don't know, t-shirt or whatever." Or, oh, what are you drinking? And then I wouldn't know how to continue the conversation.
Because you've
Because in
already
my
made it a
head,
bigger deal in your head.
yeah, because in my head, I'm already like, oh, like, what if I do like her? What if like she is like really cool?
And
And
what
I
if you
start with all
don't?
these,
What if she's some
yeah,
arrogant girl that just wants to talk about her Cartier bracelet? You know, like
I know,
so
yeah, like
what
you.
yeah, see, what if she ends up being some fucking asshole like me? Like, see how you've already played the whole thing in your head? You
I
don't know.
know. I'm an
Like
overthinker.
but that's the same thing. Like that's like, for instance, if I see a guy with a nice car, I'm not gonna automatically think he's a douchebag. But you're doing the opposite. You automatically think this person is like out of your reach or out of the situation. Like you see how we live in our heads more than the actual reality. Like that person may end up being someone that completely turns you off just from their personality. Like just going back to the beginning. Like someone's personality will make them attractive or not. So maybe they open their mouth and you're so disgusted that actually talking, you're like glad you walked over to them because you realized they weren't for you. Or the exact opposite. They're so fun and outgoing and so humble and your type that thank God you
And
just
we
treated them
get
like another
married.
human. Well, you
We
don't want
get
to get
married that
married.
time. No, I'm kidding.
So, does she need a green card or something? Like, what happened? You're down the aisle now.
Yeah, I know, but if one of my former boss, she's listening, they used to call me the what if, because everything that we were working, and they were like, bring something up, and I'm like, but what if this, and what if, and I always had those what if questions. And I guess that's what happens in my mind when I see someone that I think is pretty, and I'm like, but what if this, and what if, and I guess that just goes through my mind, and that's why I get like, I don't know.
Frozen. But
Yeah.
then what if, oh, why don't you just think of all the positive things? What if, like, when I go to talk to someone that I'm sort of interested, I think, well, what if I don't even like them? Like, you know, like, I don't consider them so above the situation that what ifs are more anxiety ridden. I just consider, like, what if they end up being, like, the guy who's already driving a Ferrari, what if he ends up being a douchebag and I hate his guts, you know? Or, like, what if, what if the opposite? Or what if it turns out really, really great?
Yeah. I know. I really have to keep working on me approaching
Especially
on.
especially
Yeah.
when you're saying that other people do that about humanity in the general. Like you're like, oh, socially, generally, I have no problem doing it. So then
Yeah.
why, you know? And the thing is, like, talking to people is really fun. People have, like, I know people who don't want to meet anybody else, so they don't want to talk to me. Great. But if you're curious about somebody or something, why not ask? Like, they told us our entire childhood growing up, put up your hand and ask the goddamn question. And then
Yeah.
we grow up and we don't ask anything, you know? Like,
I know.
we're living in society. Don't you want to know the person next? If there's something you want to know about that person, just ask.
And like people listening to us right now, like just so everyone is aware, Sherry and I, we don't really know each other that well. Like we are getting to know each other through here. Like a lot
Hmm.
of things that are happening are live. Like we're finding out about our secrets and everything right now. And I love it.
Yeah.
I
No, we
love
ask each
this. And
other. We treat each other
yeah,
like we treat each other as like something like the reality is we're not nervous of the outcome. So it's so easy to talk to each other, you know? Like we're not like, "Oh my God, what if he hates my guts tomorrow?" We're just talking. We're just hanging out. We're just getting to know each other. And everything we want to know, we ask about one another. And it was like that even when we first met. Like if you think about it, we just genuinely were interested in knowing the other person. And there was no what if. There was what if what's the worst thing that could happen? The person is not interested in you as a person, like not even as a friend, as anything, and they don't talk to you again. Then you're exactly where you were 15 fucking minutes before, you know, or in
yeah.
our case, a 4 hour flight after, you know, like, you
That
know,
would have
like,
been horrible if you were a terrible person.
no, I mean, I would have just put my AirPods in and just listened to watch my fucking show and acted like I didn't talk to you the first 10 minutes. Like, people, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not as big of a deal if we say, like, let's say, like, you even said about, like, talking to someone. Like, you were like, let's, like, go back to your cafeteria since, like, you're curious and you're like, well, what are you eating? If that person's
Yeah,
like, nothing, and they walk off, all right, move on. Like that person doesn't have you embedded in their life for the rest of their life if they're gonna try to make you miserable and tell everybody about some dumb fucking idiot that came and asked them about a sandwich. Like same thing about hitting on someone. Like people don't care that you're not that important that they're gonna hate you or love you from one interaction. You know, it's
yeah,
actually almost narcissistic of us to assume that it's going to be so embarrassing that this person's going to forever talk about this guy who hit on them and they weren't interested. You know, they're not. They're not. They're going to move
yeah,
on with their life and they're not going to give a fuck. So
yeah.
you
True.
should approach people. You should be outgoing. You should, if you have a question, fucking ask. You know,
Yeah,
like, people make
true.
it a bigger deal.
Yeah. Don't get mad at me. Stop yelling at me.
Am I yelling? I
No,
don't yell actually.
no, I'm
My
kidding. I'm kidding.
my
I mean, I'm joking. I'm the.
No, no, but I was gonna tell you, if I yell, it's like a dog whistle. My voice is so high pitched. It would, if I started yelling, only the dogs would hear. So I don't yell. I'm not a yeller because I don't want a million dogs at my door. Like, you know, I've got a high pitched voice. It's loud regardless. But
Yeah, but no,
yeah,
yeah.
no, no, no.
What other personality do you like? Or
You know, it's really weird. Like as open as I am, I like I can't keep my own secrets at all, like like at all. And I love to be so open. I like to share everything about my life. Like if someone's going through a hardship, I love to share my own, and or if someone's going through something good, I love to share the thing. But I'm so attracted to men that can keep a secret for me because I can't keep it myself. Like if someone tells me something and they're like, "Don't tell anyone," well, I have to tell one person. So I love a man, and I have this like with two of my guy friends. Like they're both like my two guy friends I've known since I was 12. Sometimes I just text them something that's like they don't even fucking know the person, but I just got it out of my system. I said it. I said it. You know, and it's like talking to a wall. Like they don't give a fuck. Even if they knew them, they don't. They're both so private. They don't share anything with anybody. So I find it so attractive in a man. Like if he can keep the secrets I could keep myself, you know. So it's a stupid thing, but I love it. Like I love having someone that I can share something with and I don't have to worry about them then sharing it with other people.
yeah,
Even though I'm super open. And usually it's not my secrets, it's someone else's secrets. Because my secrets I'm pretty open. I mean, everything about me is pretty much out there. But it's like if someone tells me something, I'm like, oh, I gotta tell somebody. So I love that. I love it because it's like having my best friend in a wall, like a secret vault, you know? I find it so attractive. It's such a stupid thing, but I love it.
no, no, no. I get it. I mean, I have never thought of that, but yeah, being able to share those. Because yeah, you kind of like you always want to tell someone. Like
Yeah.
if you hear a gossip, you're like, ah, I need to tell someone, and it's nice to have someone that you can tell,
And
and you know you can.
it kind of makes you feel like you guys share something together. Like you guys are each other's sounding board, you know? And the thing is,
Yeah,
I'm really good at keeping, if they tell me don't tell anyone, then I'll just go tell my one girlfriend or my two guy friends that I know won't tell anybody. But I love the idea of like that I have my significant other to go to and tell private things to, whether it's my own or someone else's. I don't know. It's like such an intimate thing for me. And it's such a stupid thing, but I just fucking love it.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
another one for you?
Um, I don't know.
I know one. I know one that I know will be for both of us.
Tell me.
Someone who is accountable and apologizes for their mistakes. I know that's big for you too. I mean, am I wrong?
No, no, no. You're not. You're right. That's true.
That's a huge one
Um,
for me.
yeah,
Because I
because
feel like you can, and I feel like this is you too. Sorry, not to cut you off, but like I feel like
no, no,
this
no.
is you
Go.
too. Like I can usually get over. I'm not a very forgiving person, but I can get over things if you don't apologize, I will never forgive. And if you're not accountable, I can't. Like when I say I'm not forgiving, if someone's not accountable or apologize, it will never ever get. I will never get past it. It's not even in my personality. But I feel in this sense, and I feel like you're the same way too. I feel I can get over 90% of things if someone takes it full accountability for their part and apologizes. And I feel like you're like that too. Like you're like, okay, we can move past this because people make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah, and yes, that's true. But something that when you apologize, it doesn't mean, for me, it doesn't just mean, hey, I'm sorry for what I did. It's sorry for what I did, and I'll try to not do it again, or I'm really gonna work on not doing that again. Because a lot of people just say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just like let it slide, and then they'll do it again.
Well, then to me, if you ask me, that's not even an apology. To me, an
Well,
apology is
no,
only when the behavior is not repeated, you know?
well, I
Like,
know, but you cannot tell if it was real or not until the person fucks up again or does
that's
the
true.
same thing. So
That's true.
you're always giving the benefit of the doubt. Like, yes,
Well,
I
if
I
that was
fucked up
me
again.
though, if that was me, if someone apologized initially and then did it again, you guarantee I'm gonna bring it all up from from the beginning. We're
Oh
going
yeah,
back to
no,
the
and
first mistake.
yeah, no, of course, yeah. Then you can be like, why are you asking for forgiveness if you're gonna continue doing this shit? Like, yeah. And it takes me a while. Like, I apologize, but and like if I fuck up, I just need a moment and just be like, you know what, I fucked up, and I talk to myself, and then I'm like, okay, and then I go up to the person and I'm like, hey, you know what, I really should not have done that. I'm really sorry, but I'm expecting the same from the person that I'm with.
You expect an apology. What if they were really at like? What if they were only 20% at fault and theirs was a reaction to your action?
Oh well, I mean, I would expect they would also be like, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry too. I should not have done that
That's
either.
fair.
But I mean, if it was 80% my fault, then I would start.
No, I hear you.
You know?
I see that's the reason I asked it because that's true. I think there's always everyone has a certain part that they're accountable for. So
Yeah.
I just like exactly how you said, I would expect that back too. I would expect that they would say, you know what, we can move forward. And I also did this. So that's
Yeah.
actually why I asked you that because I don't like when I go to apologize to someone and they're like, yeah, and you also did this, this, and this. And it's like, well, actually, you also took part in some part of it. So you got to take some accountability as well. Otherwise, we can't move on together as a unit.
Yeah.
We're
A
just
lot of times it
we're
could be
just
a
pointing
hundred
fingers.
percent your fault. Like a lot of times it could be I'm the only one that fucked up, and I understand, and I should not have done that, and you did not do anything. Like, but if it was a middle of a discussion and like words were said or something, and but I started the discussion or I started being, I don't know, insensitive, or then I would start. But yeah, I do need like at least 10-15 minutes to cool off and be like, think of what just happened, and
You need to
yeah,
like soak it in. That's fair.
yeah,
As long as
Yeah.
you take accountability and apologize, I think that's what's most important.
Yeah, I do. I do take accountability and I do accept my mistakes. And I would expect that person that I'm with to do the same.
That's really important.
Because yeah, because then I'm always gonna be like, is this person feel they didn't fuck up? Like, do they feel they're in the right? You know,
And then you
and then
can't
I
apologize if you think that, or you can't forgive, sorry, if you think that.
yeah, because I'm like, well, you also did that, you know, like so I don't know.
You know, they said the Tauruses have a really hard time apologizing and taking accountability. So it's
Well, I
funny when
don't.
you're, we'll see, we'll see. But
How's your mom? Does your mom apologize?
my mom's like the nicest fucking person in the entire world. But if she does something and you're like, why did you do this? My mom's answer is, and she says it in Persian, good for me. That's her answer. So does she apologize? My mom apologizes nonstop for things that don't matter. Like, I'm so sorry when you were a kid, I did this and because I was working. I'm so sorry. Like, you're like, I don't need an apology for that shit. If you do something like the smallest thing for her, she thanks you a million fucking times. But if something actually happens and you're like, hey, you did this to me, then she's like, good for me. She says it. She
I
says
love
it.
her.
So I know. My friends love her too because you're like she literally barely ever does something that pisses me off, and then like I'll be when she does, I'm like really waiting for an apology, and I'm like, hey, do you realize? Do you realize that my friends just think she's the funniest thing ever? Like, well, she did it like one time a year. She does one thing, and it's like, yeah, but that's the one time where she apologizes for the stupidest things. Like she apologizes, like if she's 5 minutes late to something, she apologizes for 45 minutes. So you're like, fuck, like dude, like it's okay. Like you constantly apologizing for being 5 minutes late for the last 45 minutes makes me want to blow up my mind. Like, you know? But
Yeah,
then for things that do matter, no, she cannot. She cannot for the life of her.
good for
And
me.
then she goes back, she's like, I'm constantly apologizing. It's like, yeah, you're constantly apologizing for things I don't want an apology for. So yeah, that's her answer. That is her answer.
Love it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
And she says it in Persian, which means like I did a great job. Like it's like good for me. I
Can you say it?
fabulous. Hukar kardam, which means
Oh,
like I did like yeah, like I did a great thing. Or I mean, literally, I think it translates to I did a good thing, but it pretty much was like good for me. Like yeah,
yeah.
you know. But then I guarantee you, a year later, she'll start apologizing for it. Like after you don't seek the apology, she'll apologize, and then she'll apologize for like the rest of your life. Like she apologizes to me for things that like every year she apologizes for something she did like 10 years ago, and I'm like, I don't even remember anymore. So, but
Well, you see,
in the moment. So you need 15 minutes. She needs like 30,
15,
365.
15 hours.
No, like
I
360
mean,
days or
15
65 days.
years.
Yeah. She needs a full 12 months before she turns around and she's like, I'm sorry. But in the moment, if you're seeking apology, no. No, no, no,
But
no,
she's
no.
a Taurus and she's apologetic. Not at the moment, but
Not
she
in the moment.
apologizes.
But
Yeah.
it's, I'm telling you, the funny thing is, she really honestly soaks in the fact because in her mind, and it's true, she apologizes for everything, which is like so frivolous. It's just the things that you seek the apology for that she's like, whoa, hold up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it depends, yeah, that's what she's like. But that's all the Tauruses I know are like that. They need to think
Well, not
about
me.
it before, well, you just said it. You're like, I need
Oh,
like
oh, okay,
15
okay,
minutes.
yeah. I
They
thought
need
you
to
were gonna be there
actually
now.
see if they did something. They need to feel like they did something before they apologize. You can't just be like, hey, that hurt my feelings. And if they think it's like not something that should hurt your feelings, they're like, well, that's not my problem. But
Yeah, yeah, I need a time because I'm like at that moment, I'm like, I'm in the right. You know, like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Good for you. Good for
yeah,
me.
good for you, good for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone finds my mom so funny. Like when I tell, they're like, did you tell your mom? I'm like, yeah, yeah. They're like, what did she say? I'm like, she said good for me. They just die laughing. They're like, yeah, she loves it.
That's amazing.
Well, I guess we should end with our tags and stuff, but I do want to end with, it sounds like, I mean, for me, at the end of the day, and you tell me on your half, looks don't matter to me as much as a personality. Like that's really, really what it comes down to me. Like I'm attracted to personality first.
Oh yeah, of course, 100%. Um,
It makes or
yeah,
breaks a
there's
person.
yeah, I mean I've seen such beautiful girls everywhere and I talk to them and and it's not because I'm hitting on them because I cannot do that, which I'm working on. But just talking to someone and you're like, oh man, she's beautiful, and then they have like such bad attitude or like, and I'm like, ugh, she looks ugly now, you know?
You know,
But
I tell
yeah,
people all this time, like my friends, like I have a lot of guy friends who like are very, very successful, like extremely successful, and I have a lot of girlfriends that are beautiful. And I always tell them all the same thing. I'm like, we live nowadays, like I mean in LA especially, where there's so many like I have guy friends that are like own really successful companies or they're surgeons, but I'm like, there's so many of you. You're not one of a few. Just like a beautiful girl, like you're one of like 10 million, you know?
yeah,
So you're not that unique. If your personality's not there, it's I think we're at a day and age where people aren't going to make excuses anymore. Like back in the day, it was hard to meet people. So someone might say like, okay, like I'm really attracted to her, or he's so successful. I'm going to deal with X, Y, and Z, you know? But
yeah,
nowadays, like it just takes 5 seconds to go online and find another plastic surgeon or another entrepreneur or like another beautiful girl. It's you're not that unique for physical or on paper aspects. It's your
yeah,
personality that will make someone fall in love with you. And that's what people I feel like people don't tolerate less than that anymore. Like they do expect a good personality. And so that's really important. I think like as much time as we advance ourselves physically or status wise or whatever, we always need to advance who we are as a human, and that's
yeah,
the most important thing because that's the only thing that's going to make you stand out. It's not going to
yeah,
be your new eyelashes or your degree.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I
All right, we
agree
should
with you.
definitely tell people before we sign off. We forgot, follow us on the perfect underscore the letter X and DM us questions, concerns, topics you want us to talk about, and email us at the perfect X, that's the letter X at hotmail.com.
Yeah, we
Perfect.
would be, yeah, happy to hear all of you.
Perfect. Well, I'll
Okay.
talk to you next week.
Yeah, talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.
You too. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy 4th of July, everyone,
Oh
also.
yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say that. Happy
Well, you
4th.
did it.
Well, because
Yeah.
I'm Canadian, I was like, oh, I gotta remember. And July 1st is Canada Day. Happy July. I mean, tomorrow July 1st, isn't it? Is it?
I
I
think
gotta
so.
check. Oh my God,
I
it's
don't know.
Canada Day. Well, yeah, so happy Canada Day and happy 4th.
Yeah. Happy
Yeah.
everyone. It won't be
Oh,
till September where we can celebrate the Mexican.
we'll do you in September, but tomorrow is
Yeah.
mine, Canadian. So every bag out there, you know.
Don't carry any baggage.
Yeah, don't carry any baggage out there. Oh, awesome. I'll make sure not to carry baggage on my way to Vegas for July 4th.
Okay. Enjoy your trip.
You too. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.